How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh them bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to Jinder Mahal.
Hit my music!
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
You are now listening to the SMC Wrestling Podcast with your boys, the Smart, Caleb Baldwin, the Mark, Carl Irvin, and the Contrarian, Rance Morris. Believe in the pod.
Hello and welcome to the SMC Wrestling Podcast. This is the November 9th, 2017 edition. As always, we have a Smart Mark, a Mark, and a Contrarian. I am your Smart Mark, Caleb Baldwin. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys for listening. We do always appreciate it, but I don't have much to add here yet, but I do want to introduce our Mark, Carl Irvin. Carl, how you been, man?
Hey, Caleb. What's going on, buddy? I'm doing good, man. I'll tell you what, the one thing about these podcasts sometimes, you're trying to get into a rhythm, is you kind of, sometimes time constraints will get you, and so we haven't been able to be as consistent as we would like to be, but I promise if you guys stick with us, we're going to get it worked out on consistency at some point, hopefully soon. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's someone else, I'll take the blame for sometimes missing a lot of times because I'm supremely busy. But I'm glad to be back, and I think we picked a perfect time to come back, even though we missed a week. Last week would have been tough. This week we've got so much to talk about. It's going to be awesome. And because we're all so opinionated and different in our opinions, this is going to be an entertaining podcast. I'm 100% sure of it. It might be the best one ever. Just saying.
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji.
Right. So I'll kick it back to you, Caleb, and you can introduce our Contrarian.
Well, first off, before I kick it to our Contrarian, I want to say when it's not Carl, it's me. I have a current work situation where my schedule could change on a whim, pretty much, unfortunately. Yeah. So that's a lot of the problems here. It's really never Rance, because Rance is pretty well good to go at any time because he's very dependable. He's like in most cases, he's like the Sami Zayn of our podcast. But
you really ruined it.
Maybe not. Maybe not so much after what happened this week. I don't know. But Rance, what up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man, it is a glorious day. No Bobby Roode. We got a lot to talk about. I have been advertising shit out of this on Twitter because we have the topics this week. Jesus Christ. It's this week. It's like God opened up the heavens and said, "Hey, podcast host, here's what we're going to talk about this week." It has been quite the week in all of wrestling.
Not even Rance, not even the week, more like 3.5 days, because our first the first happening happened on Sunday morning, and then the third happening came on Wednesday morning. So
good point.
About 3 days, yeah.
But this is what we live for. We're getting down. It's the road to WrestleMania. I guess more relevant, the road to Wrestle Kindgom is starting. So I guess this is a time where things start building up, and I'm loving it, man, and I'm ready to go. I promise you are going to hear hot takes from me like you have never heard hot takes from me before. I promise.
That's saying something, buddy.
Yes, for me?
Yeah.
Let me put you like this. I'm coming out of column writing retirement just because of these 3 days.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to I'm gonna try to keep the peace, but probably not gonna be able to because you know how it ends up going sometimes, depending on what we're talking about. But
And
I think we should probably go
by the
ahead.
way, I apologize if I hurt anybody's feelings in advance. Nothing is personally directed at any particular person except
Caleb.
no.
I
Um,
was gonna say you are responding to one particular person, but yeah.
well, we got a lot to
Right.
talk about, but uh, I- a good friend of mine, legitimately not just wrestling friend, but a good friend of mine, Chad Matthews, the Doc, host of LP's The Doc Says, also author of the WrestleMania era, a book that I purchased. That's my guy,
Boy,
right?
Chad, these are your only plugs, brother. It's all downhill from here.
No,
I will give Chad as many plugs as necessary, sir.
Definitely, and an outstanding doctor to boot.
but yeah, actually, he's a hell of a doctor,
I
and
know.
legitimately might be the smartest guy I know. Like no exaggeration.
Could be. Yeah.
In fact, Chad, I know you're gonna listen to this. This is an offer to come on the podcast next week. So Chad and I have disagreed vehemently, as I have with Caleb. But more, Chad and Rich, but Chad in general have been the leaders of the gender sucks bandwagon or group rather, right? But Chad moved off of that and moved to the I don't quote unquote care. I'm apathetic. Okay, so I listened to his podcast that he released yesterday, and I wrote some notes down. So he says that Jinder is the worst slash most mediocre WWE champion of all time. There are some ones that you could argue, but because I know Chad the way I do, I know Chad's gonna separate World Heavyweight Champion from WWE Champion. I don't because it's all fake and they're all not real belts anyway. So it's all the same to me. Main belt, mid card belt, lower card belt. But I respect that. So I don't think he's as bad as you think he is. But you know what? I'll let that one slide only because I know you're gonna specify WWE Championship. But said a few things that made me think. You said that the WWE Championship is a symbol of excellence and that the man makes the title. Well, so my rebuttal to that first and foremost is wrestling is scripted. There's no way a man can make a fake title. But if we want to go with that assumption, the title has never looked better. I'm not talking about in ring. I'm talking about everything outside of the 20 minutes you wrestle. It's never looked. I can't remember the last time it's looked better than in the hands of Jinder Mahal. The package, the way the man dresses, the way the man looks, the way the man carries himself, the way listen to his interviews, the way the man has carried that belt has given it. Maybe because you guys hate how he wrestles in ring, but it's given it an air of prestige because he treats it like it's a real championship, right? He doesn't drag it to the ring like Austin did. You know what I mean? He doesn't make it. He didn't make it into a toy like Cena did. He carries it with a genuine respect. He went to India and he was treated revered like a king out there. He carries that thing like it's real, even though I must reiterate it is not. Okay, I wrote notes by the way. Um, so now my biggest issue with Chad has been that at first he would not admit that everything he feels about gender is biased. And what I mean by biased is he openly admits, well, you say I hate him, you say he's garbage, you say he's the worst WWE champion of all time, but you won't watch him. How do you know? That's biased. He's admitted that because he's admitted I'll never watch, but he'll always be bad to me. So at least he can admit that he's biased. I appreciate that. But your bias comes into things when you admit, well, I admit that the anti-American storyline gets heat. That's the point. That's the point. regardless of how you feel about him, or can he wrestle a 6.25 star match in the ring, he's getting heat. Okay. And you say that you're apathetic to him, right? And things need to be in a wrestling storyline needs to be positive or negative, not apathetic. Well, I watched Tuesday, and the joy people had for seeing AJ Styles should show you AJ Styles win the championship from Jinder should prove to you that Jinder got over, his job was done. People hated him. And whether you think it's, oh, they're happy that the belt's off of Jinder, or whether you think, whatever the case is, the fact of the matter is, the point was made. There was 6 months of a reign, and the guy who took it off of that won and caused they got 500,000 extra viewers for a tape show. When's that happen? When's the last time that happened? So I got a couple more, but before I go any further, because the other things, moving towards some other things you said away from just the gender situation, I would like to ask my compatriots, do you have anything you want to jump into before I go to the other part?
Caleb, go ahead.
I was gonna add about the elation of the crowd. It was, I will agree, good 99% of the crowd was very much into it. But if you go back and watch the YouTube clip, there's one guy, and I'm not making this up, in a Jinder Mahal shirt and a tunic, who has the most disgusted look on his face when this is happening, and that just
I saw that.
By the way,
yeah.
By the way, before I want you to finish, but I really did say this because this is something that really bothers me personally. Like, it really genuinely pisses me off. Just because you, not Caleb, but anybody, just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that other people fucking don't. So it pisses me the fuck off when people want to act like Jinder doesn't have fucking fans. There are people out there that really genuinely enjoy this motherfucker. And because
That's
you
true.
don't like him, fuck you. Just because you don't like him doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't or can't. And that pisses me off. Because, you know what I'm saying, you want to sit here, all of us got our favorites. Caleb is a Sami Zayn super fan. Carl will kiss fucking Scott Hall's feet if he walks in front of him.
True.
You know what I'm saying? I'm HBK Mark, right? I'm the biggest, me and Andre are the biggest Roman defenders on the fucking internet. We all got our fans. So we all got people that we're fans of. So how fucking dare anybody sit here and say, oh, well, nobody likes that motherfucker. That's bullshit. I hate Kalisto. People love that motherfucker. I think he's the worst thing that ever happened to wrestling. People love him.
I will say, in defense of and I'm not saying, he doesn't have fans, because that's just, insane. I know a couple of them, oddly enough. But his push has seemed to have given rise to a lot of irony on Twitter, specifically, that I see all the time, which is just insane. Not you, Carl, not you, Rance, but there's people out there, and they're very vocal. And I don't know, for me, I always ask that people be genuine, and if you're going to quote unquote support someone, please be genuine in that. And the ironic wrestling guy, which is very much a thing on Twitter, is very annoying. I just wanted to add that real quick.
No, it is, but you know who else is annoying? The person who thinks that anything that I don't like is bad. That's annoying as fuck too.
Yeah. Y'all.
There's no genders. What does Chad call him? He's the modern day mediocrity. He's a piece of garbage. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. You don't like him. Great. That's fine. I respect that. I would never ask you to like somebody you don't to like somebody you're just not gonna like. I would never ask it. However, what I will ask and what I will demand is you have respect for the motherfuckers that do. We could talk all day long, we could debate, but you can't fucking tell somebody that they're stupid for liking somebody. That's bullshit. You got a problem with it, come see me.
Well, this is taking a turn. I just want to speak.
Somebody's hot.
And that's not directed at Chad. I don't want you to think that is, because Chad, you my boy. That wasn't directed at you, but I've seen a lot of, and I can name names, but I ain't gonna do it. But I've seen a lot of people that I'm friends with doing the shit.
Well, let's full disclosure. we all know Chad. Like, if you know Chad, if you know Caleb, they're not Jinder Mahal fans, but none of them, and we're all buddies. Neither, like, this is why he's being specific that he's not directing anything at Caleb or Chad. Neither of them, they know that I have enjoyed Jinder Mahal and what has happened since he won the title. Neither of them have ever called me stupid for liking another wrestler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they're like, they may not like the guy, but they are not that ignorant to think that you can't like someone just because, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't like someone, it's okay if you do. Like, I give Caleb a hard time about Sami Zayn all the time, okay? But I would never tell him he's stupid.
I was going to say, no, you give me a hard time about, like, Eli Drake specifically. And, like, I know he is not popular on Twitter, so I'm very much in a minority in that regard. So
Yeah.
I can kind of sympathize with Jinder Mahal fans a little, even though, again, I think Jinder Mahal is trash, as Frank Reynolds would say. But, yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. But you understand that everybody doesn't think that.
Yeah.
So if to get to the final point, so we can actually move on and talk about Jinder and AJ. So when we get into the AJ and Brock situation, I would like to say that me personally, I don't want to see any small guy wrestle Brock. I'm sorry, I don't. I would rather it be AJ than Daniel Bryan or than Finn, because Daniel Bryan's brittle as hell, and Finn is small and doesn't look like he could feasibly do anything against Brock. Whereas AJ has
Rance, I'm real sorry to interrupt, but before you go on, are you saying, like, you don't want to see these small guys wrestle Brock because they're small? Is that what you're saying?
Partially, yeah, because it just, first and foremost, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with small guys versus big guys, and it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit about that. Like, you know, when Ray fought Undertaker, it was cool with me. I don't care. But Brock is so unique of a person, right? Brock is so unique of a talent. Brock is booked so unique. It's just not interesting to me. I literally, if Daniel Bryan ever wrestled Brock, I couldn't watch the match. I'd literally be terrified for him. Like, completely outside of kayfabe or wrestling, I would be terrified for him. I would. It's like it's just not. It's not an interesting story to me. There's no feasible way.
Okay, see, I thought you were going the realism route, and I mean, we just established like 10 minutes ago that wrestling's fake, but you know, it's whatever.
No, I agree with you, but you're 100% right. It's this for me. I know a bunch of people will love it, but I don't have. I would have preferred to see Jinder versus AJ, and we'll talk about that later. I'm directing this to Chad. The reason I bring that up is because he was very adamant that, and this he might have said this in the podcast, this has been in our group, that he doesn't care about the result of AJ versus Brock. But yet that was the very thing he hated about Jinder Mahal's reign. Like, you have to pick and choose. You can't all of a sudden not care about the result of something just because you like the two people that's wrestling, but then you want to flip it the other way. One thing that I've been very adamant about, what I need, or me, on this podcast is I need consistency. If you're consistently gonna do this, then fine. Consistently do that. If you're consistently gonna talk about Sami Zayn all fucking day, fine. Be consistently. That's you. I respect that. If you're consistently gonna watch Impact, god damn it, do it. I don't understand it, but do it. But be consistent, right? If you're consistently gonna want to see hardcore matches, be consistent. Whatever you do, I'm not saying you can't ever do anything different, but be consistent, right? But there's no consistency with what Chad's saying about AJ versus Brock, because we both know whether it's Jinder versus AJ, it's gonna be a 5-minute squash, maybe 10, but it's gonna be a glorified squash. If the man squashed Braun Strowman, he's gonna squash AJ. This is what it is. But you're cool with that now because you like AJ, right? You'll watch Survivor Series now because you like AJ. But when the result's gonna be no different than if it was Jinder. That's hypocritical to me. That's hypocritical. People talk about, oh, the show's watchable now. What the fuck changed? One person?
Well, they think they're gonna get some classic out of Brock and AJ. I mean, and not to say that, I mean, AJ could pull a classic out of anybody, but this isn't about AJ pulling a classic out of somebody. This will be about Brock allowing someone to pull a classic out of him because Brock is so hard to work with. Like, it's noted. You know, I mean, you've heard guys say it before. Dean Ambrose has said it before. You know, he didn't like come out, you know, like, but you know what I'm saying? He very much implied that he had trouble putting together a match with Brock Lesnar.
No, he openly said Brock
yeah, I mean, and that's like, and maybe because Brock has say in what the hell happens with the language in his contract, from what I've always been led to believe, maybe he says, I want to work with AJ, I'm going to let him do something, and we all get thrown for a curve, right? Because when he wrestled Joe got some shit in, right?
He gave Joe more than anybody he's
right.
given.
When he wrestled,
yes.
When he wrestled Braun got some shit in. But at the end of the day, one has to assume, and maybe we shouldn't, but one has to assume that AJ is going to lose this match, and by hook or by crook. I mean, I don't see him winning. I just don't. To me, Brock is the Universal Champ, and he is there's really nothing gained for AJ to beat Brock, I don't think, because AJ's already the WWE Champion. It doesn't matter. This is just brand supremacy or whatever the fuck you want to call it. The only person who has anything to gain by beating Brock Lesnar at this point is whoever is going to take that belt from him. And this belt is not coming off Brock if he loses this match. And I don't know if are we past your talking points yet? Because I'm just curious. I want to make sure because there's more I want to have to say about all of this, and I just want to kind of jump. Okay. I just want to say real quick, and I am a staunch WWE defender for the most part, but that does not mean that the WWE is not without faults.
Sure.
And if you want to understand my perspective on this, my perspective isn't a pro-gender, anti-gender thing. Let me put it this way. Jinder Mahal got an opportunity, okay? He held the title for 6 months-ish, I guess. Is that the right amount of time? About 6 months?
About 6 months,
yeah. That is a good reign by WWE standards. Absolutely. Right now. 100%. That's a great reign. That's a Kevin Owens when he held the Universal title for 6 months. Right. You know, that's a good reign, okay? So, first of all, if you have an issue with Jinder, that's one thing. But let me just say this. Props to Jinder Mahal for taking his opportunity and trying to make the best of it. Whether it worked, whether it didn't, okay? Whatever your feelings are. Jinder Mahal, he did what he was supposed to do, okay? None of us in any situation in our life, job or whatever, are going to turn down the opportunity of a lifetime, okay? So whether you think he sucks or not, well, whatever. You know, he took the opportunity, and he can't be faulted for that, okay? It wasn't like he woke up one day and stormed into Vince McMahon's office and was like, give me a title or I'm out of here, okay? He's not two other guys that we're going to be talking about later. And another guy.
I like to wish that he did, and that Vince was like, well, goddamn, pal, that's that ruthless aggression I've been talking about.
Right. But to continue, this is my issue with all of this, okay? My issue with every single bit of this. Everyone was pissed, not only that Jinder won the title as a jobber, but because there was no build to Jinder winning the title. Y'all remember out there in listener land, y'all remember when y'all were mad? There was no build, no good story. Jinder Mahal didn't win the title because he won the title, but there was no story. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about AJ's road to the WWE Championship.
It wasn't the road. It was more like a skip.
It was nothing. Nothing happened. Okay, he beat the Singh brothers in 2 singles matches in 10 seconds, 2 weeks apart. And then because he got beat up, he got a title shot.
Well, goddamn it, Shane, I wanted to get a title shot.
There is and prior to that, he had just lost a match at a pay-per-view to Finn Balor. Yep. In what world is AJ really even, other than he's just AJ, kind of like Cena, right? How Cena's just Cena. In what world is AJ actually even in contention for a WWE Championship match?
By the way, give some more context. What did he do before he called out Jinder Mahal? He lost the U.S. title to Baron Corbin.
That's true. So, these are things, you're looking for story continuity, all of you. No, you're not. You're all full of shit.
100%.
Y'all don't care. Y'all don't care. None of
Hey,
y'all care about stories.
Let's not alienate too many of our
Okay.
listeners. Okay,
All right,
let's.
fine.
I don't really don't give a shit
Listen,
right now
listen,
because facts are facts. And what
Listen.
Carl just said is true. It's facts.
Nobody seems to care about the story. It's become, we're in wrestling now. And like, to me, that's fine. If you don't care about the story, always be that way. Okay. Like you said, consistency, right? If you didn't like the Jinder Mahal story, why do you like the AJ Styles story here? Please tell me. I just want someone to explain that to me. It's hypocrisy. And that is my biggest beef with this. And you know what?
100%.
Part of this is WWE booking themselves into this kind of corner because they are being lazy. They wanted to make it as they already had. It's not much of a story because it's brand versus brand. Jinder Mahal's on one show, Brock Lesnar's on another show. Okay, so you're having to work off of promos where they're not even interacting with each other.
Yeah.
But it's not how they did it with Brock and Randy, where Randy RKO Brock out of nowhere one night. You know what I mean? They didn't do anything like that. But now there's one more week of shows before Survivor Series. There's no time to build a match. Like, you're not building anything. There's no build here. And everybody is always griping about build. Build to stories, build to matches. And we're getting nothing. There is no build.
We had a build, but they got rid of it.
We had a build as small as it may have been. It was way more. And Paul Heyman, Caleb, I see you, buddy. Paul Heyman acknowledged Jinder Mahal's existence, whether he shit on him or not. He acknowledged his existence. Jinder Mahal came out the next week, acknowledged back. The Singh brothers took shots at Paul Heyman. The Jinder put up the challenge. This match doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? Without a challenge.
We've had 3 weeks of Jinder versus Brock commercials.
Right. So let me get this one more thing straight. Okay. First of all, there's still 1 week left. Let's not be so sure that we're not going to end up still getting Jinder and Brock. Okay.
Maybe
you never know. Right. And the other thing I want to point out, okay, because I am a huge fan of AJ Styles. I love AJ Styles. He's outstanding. If anybody deserves to be WWE champion, AJ Styles is at the top of that list all the time, in my opinion. He is that good. But I want to clarify that this is not, I'm not upset with either the performers here. Okay, I'm not angry at AJ. I'm not angry at Jinder. I'm not angry. What I'm angry about is two things. The consistency in terms of continuity. Okay, we want stories, but then we don't because it fits our narrative. It fits our guy. You know what I mean? And to me, that is the biggest problem. And the second thing is the laziness. Because to me, like, I normally don't shit on WWE for this kind of thing, but I think this was a lazy decision. I really do. I think it was a lazy decision because Brock probably decided he didn't want to do this. They shoehorned someone else into the spot. You know what I mean? And to me, when you start letting your employees have power, like, what's happening? You can't always let them make the decisions, but it's in his contract. You know, they wrote it up this way. It is what it is, you know, but I don't know. To me, this whole thing is based on that, you know, it's just laziness and it's just inconsistency of fans.
And I want to add one more thing, and then Caleb, you got to have the floor because
the floor is yours.
Yeah,
yes.
But I want to add one more thing. There is such a level of entitlement among fans nowadays that is ridiculous. And in this instance, what I mean by that is this: we have forgotten what the point of a heel is. What the point of a wrestling heel is. The point of a wrestling heel is to make you despise or have disdain for him, but more importantly, is to make you want the face to prosper. Okay? That's the point of a wrestling heel. In all three facets, in all three feuds, fans were begging for Orton to beat him, for Shinsuke to beat him, and now for AJ to beat him. People want to sit here and act like, oh, I'm happy because he doesn't have the belt. I'm not happy because, you know, this, that, and the other. Whatever the situation is, whatever you feel about Jinder, if you don't like him, that's what you were supposed to feel. The point and the goal was met. So now everybody's happy that AJ won? By the way, I feel like I need to say this because I know people are going to sit here and say, oh, you're such a Jinder guy. Go back and listen to the podcast. We've been doing this for months now. I said Jinder should lose it at Survivor Series. I've said this. I'm very happy AJ won because he's deserving, and I want to see AJ Nakamura at WrestleMania. So don't sit here and say that I'm doing this because I'm mad Jinder lost. I don't give a fuck that he lost. Could care less. It's all the situations around him losing that bother me. But understand that you're still a wrestling fan. At the end of the day, you're still probably gonna react the way they want you to, whether you realize you're gonna react that way or not. And so many people out there dislike Jinder and hated the whole move, whether they didn't like how, like you said, Carl, how it started, or the quote unquote story behind, whatever the case is, or that he's not the greatest in-ring technician. Okay, cool. Fact of the matter is, him having the belt made you want somebody to take it off of it that much more, right? Then that was the point.
Caleb, we want to hear from you.
You
We've been
want to
talking
hear
a
from
lot,
me?
brother. Get out, and you better have something
Yeah.
to say. If you don't, I'm gonna.
Yeah. I actually don't have much to add on this one. No, I'm kidding. Listeners that are of the ilk that I am, of a wrestling fan, we got what we wanted. That's pretty cool, And these two are here and try to verbally assault you and bury you and some other insider terms here. Trying to just denigrate you. I'm here to let you know you have an ally. Uncle Caleb is here to let you know I am on your side. And the match was actually pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie, kind of surprised. I certainly hope they don't go back to this well, because God knows we are just dying to see Jinder Mahal versus John Cena for the belt at WrestleMania. I mean, if there's one thing I want at WrestleMania this year, it's Jinder Mahal versus John Cena. So my God, I would kill to see that, But yeah, awesome. Like, it was actually a pretty good match. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, and long live AJ Styles, 2-time WWE champion. But yeah,
Is that it?
I wish I had more to add. Yeah, I wish I had more to add.
Can you at least? You're not going to address the points that other people make, though. Like, you don't think it's a point that there's literally no real story here? That doesn't bother you at all. Just because the title is off of Jinder now, this doesn't bother you that there's no story. It bothered you there was no story when Jinder won it. But it doesn't bother you now. Address it, man. Come on.
First off, yeah, I am a little bothered that there was no story. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to deny that. That being said, here is the main difference between AJ Styles on a 3-week build and Jinder Mahal on a 6-week build, is that prior to this, AJ Styles had not been beaten like a fucking drum for a year, okay? AJ Styles was not an established jobber. If anything, AJ Styles is an established future Hall of Famer, even if he never touched the title.
Okay.
Future Hall of Fame. So that is the main difference there.
Can I rebut that thought process? May I?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
Remember when I told you I didn't want to see AJ fight Brock Lesnar, and your response was, are you going to say realism or what? Because we just established wrestling is fake, right? So
yes. Yeah.
The same with how ridiculous it is to you to see a guy who before to a certain point had never won is the same how
I got
it's so you can wrap your mind around seeing a 5'8" guy wrestle a guy who legitimately beats people up for a living, but you can't wrap your mind around seeing how in a scripted environment a guy was booked to win a championship.
Not if it had already been established for, like I said, forever that this guy was beaten like a drum. But
you're right.
But this being said, there, and you've made this point before, and I kind of agree. There are different confines of kayfabe we hit where we're like, we hit our wall and we're like, that's not, I don't fucking buy that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, some of us can buy Bray Wyatt. Some of us are like, it's fucking stupid.
Let me also.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to add this because I think it is relevant. And I'm not trying to just to kind of counter what you were saying about the fact that Jinder was beaten like a drum beforehand. Let's keep in mind, real quick, that Jinder, if you remember the old RIP Talking Smack, where Jinder had come on and, talking about working hard and he wanted to win his first championship and stuff like that. This is before all that happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was a free agent or whatever. They was a trade or whatever, that dumb shit they were doing when they were shaking up the roster. Yeah. So if you remember, prior to him coming to SmackDown, Caleb is 100% on the nose. Jinder Mahal was getting beaten like a drum. He was a fucking jobber. When he won that six-pack challenge, let's remember, from the moment he won the six-pack, he got the opportunity, you can say, if you want to, in my opinion, through the Talking Smack segment, okay? Because Shane is all about giving opportunities to people who don't fucking deserve them. They just get things. Mm-hmm. That's been how it's gone over there. And you cannot deny that. No matter what you want, you cannot deny that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility at that time for Shane to be like, oh, man, you're talking about working hard and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to throw you in the six-pack challenge, right? Jinder Mahal, from the moment he won the six-pack challenge to when he lost the WWE Championship on Tuesday, has been living off of help from the Singh brothers. Jinder Mahal is still a jobber.
100%.
He is still. That has not changed.
100%.
That is his character arc. He is a jobber who was not deserving of the title because he was getting it through bullshit means. It's no different than how The Miz retains his IC title all the time. He's getting help every single time. This is that is the story.
JBL.
It really is. Yeah,
JBL
you're right.
Cabinet.
I mean, this is
who actually his arc is closest to is JBL.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, in that regard, he's still a jobber, Caleb. He's still getting beaten like a drum. He's just winning because he's getting help.
He should continue to get beat like a drum.
Send
him to Raw. Let Roman beat him like a drum. Get Roman over, brother. Roman must pose. I don't care. Let that fucker lose on Raw every fucking week. I don't care.
And watch the matches. Watch the matches. He gets dominated for the majority of the matches until Singh brothers come.
Distraction.
Exactly. And the point is, the thing is, we all know he's not good enough. We all know he never should have won the title. The difference is he has this false sense of security. So I'm a big person in details, right? After the match, when he lost, what's the first thing he did?
He shoved the Singh.
He beat up the Singh brothers because he had convinced himself, I'm good enough. You guys are causing me to lose. When in fact, they were the ones causing him to win. Delusion of grandeur. The story's there, man.
So, I mean, and all this being said, I want to but I want to kind of transition over to AJ and Brock for a second, if we can, because we've gotten a lot of shit in here on Jinder, and I know Caleb's tired of talking about him, and that's fine. I mean, the one thing I will say before I move on, if there's one thing we can say about the Jinder Mahal WWE title reign, it got all of us fucking talking. I don't care what anybody has to say. It got us all talking and debating and really or getting after each other about wrestling. And to me, that's a good thing because it sparked good conversation. The three of us have had a good time over the last 6 months discussing this shit. We really have. And
y'all went to a show.
Yeah. So
let's not try and propagate this into Jinder Mahal made us buy tickets for the show. Because no, that's not actually what happened.
No. That's neither here nor there. I just want to say that if there's one thing that he did do, it's he definitely got us talking, and to me that's a good thing. Okay, that doesn't mean he was the greatest WWE champion of all time. It just means he got us talking, and I think that's a good thing when it comes to this community because we're always at odds with each other. You know what I mean? That's just kind of how we've all been, but we need to stick together, right? So, anyways, off that real quick, AJ and Brock. So you jump into it because I know we got a lot to talk about. Here's the AJ Brock thing is. We're not getting any build, but whatever. Everybody's like, well, we don't need build because it's AJ and Brock. It's a dream match. Well, let me ask you a question real quick, guys. And Rance, I don't know what your response will be. Caleb, I'll be interested in yours as well here. If AJ walks into this match against Brock Lesnar and just gets the shit beat out of him, he's going to be taking some suplexes, boys. Okay? He's going to take some suplexes. If AJ goes in there and gets the shit beat out of him, Are you going to wish that was Jinder Mahal instead? Because AJ Styles, what if he goes out there and it's just shit? The match is shit because Brock is Brock, and he has to look good and strong all the time. Because he was going to beat the shit out of Jinder too. You know this, right? He was going to wrestle Jinder and beat the fuck out of him. That was going to happen.
I've heard things to the contrary, but go ahead.
But that's fine. We'll never know, probably. But AJ Styles, if you don't think AJ is about to go out there and bump for Brock Lesnar,
Oh yeah.
for 10 minutes, you're crazy. I don't know how much offense AJ is going to get in. Maybe he will. I hope he does. I'm hoping for a good match. In terms of just in a vacuum, of course I'd rather see AJ and Brock versus Jinder and Brock. That's my opinion. Rance is a little bit different. In a vacuum, I'd rather see it because I like to think that Brock will go out there and work with AJ, and they'll have a good match because I think they'll both be capable. I'll buy Brock Lesnar.
You'd like to think that a professional wrestler will go
do
out
their
and
job.
Yeah, you would like to think that, yeah.
Yeah, you would like to think that.
I'm not
Yeah.
convinced it's all Brock. I'm convinced that a part of this is Vince booking him that way because he knows
Oh.
whoever beats him at the end is going to be that much better because he's so dominant. But
Right.
Do you mean wait, whoever beats him?
Can you
y'all,
answer
y'all
me?
could talk this bullshit that it's going to be Roman Brock all you want. I haven't seen a damn thing on TV that makes it seem it's going to be that.
Convince
So
just
until
answer me
it
this.
happens, I don't believe it until
And
it happens.
let me just ask this, and then I'll stop. Let me ask you just, what is the difference? What is the actual difference between Jinder Mahal going out there and getting his ass beat by Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles going out there and getting his ass beat by Brock Lesnar?
Can I
I just
answer
want to know the difference.
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Jinder's going to be more entertaining because at least we don't know what the fuck's going to happen.
That's wow, okay.
No.
I just
Feel free to believe that, sir.
No, I believe it more than my damn name is Rance Morris. I swear to God. Let me explain to you why that is. Because we know what's going to happen with AJ versus Brock. We do. We know what's going to happen. We don't. You can't name me three moves Jinder does. You can't name them. And it's not because he doesn't do them. You don't care. So we don't know what's going to happen. We know that clearly Vince sees something in the dude, right? We know that every match he wins is by hook or by crook. So Brock is gonna throw one of the Singh brothers through the damn Titantron. Something's gonna happen that's gonna be unexpected. With AJ versus Brock, Brock's gonna suplex him and suplex him and suplex him and suplex him. AJ's gonna hit a couple of the punches in the kick. He's gonna put him in the calf crusher. He might even hit him with the phenomenal forearm. Brock's gonna kick out at 1.5, 1F5. Good night. Next match.
I will say this: there was an air of uncertainty around the Jinder Brock result, win or lose. I think we all kind of talked about that a little bit off to the side. We had said, might they let Jinder win this match?
That's more
We
interesting. to me.
did talk about that.
That's more interesting. To me.
How many of you sitting here right now, we're talking, think that AJ is going to win this match? Are uncertain as to whether AJ will win this match? Please tell me. Caleb?
I'm actually a little uncertain.
No,
I could
you're
maybe
not.
see-
No.
No, I'm just saying. Don't rule out interference from anyone. That's all I'm saying.
From
I
Jinder.
won't-
From Jinder.
No,
That's
not
what it's gonna
from
be.
no.
Paul
I'm
Heyman's
just saying.
gonna come in and do an elbow drop or something. What the hell's gonna happen?
Maybe interference from a Finn Balor to kickstart that feud
No.
with Brock and Finn. Maybe
Hell no.
interference from the
Not
Bullet
in-
Club, or the Good
Nah.
Brothers, as it were.
Nah.
Maybe.
Yes,
exactly.
Is
I'm
Vince
thinking that
really
could
gonna
happen.
is Vince gonna send Gallows and Anderson out
I'm
on
saying.
the main event of Super Survivor Series to interfere in that match? I don't know. Maybe
what's the-
Finn Balor.
Wasn't Anderson
okay,
just singing
listen,
the damn
let's
Honky Tonk theme
let's-
song?
Let's not rule it out. A pasty ginger who weeks prior was putting over a singing comedy villain interfered in the main event of a pay-per-view. So let's not rule this out. I'm just
Right.
saying.
That made sense.
Yeah.
If Zayn and Owens are gonna interfere, it's gonna be in the 5-on-5. It's not gonna be in the fucking main event.
They're not going to interfere in the title match. Or the champions match. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying crazier things have happened than
But that
Gallows
wasn't
and
crazy.
Anderson interfered for their friend.
But that wasn't crazy. Sami Zayn interfering to save his best friend. That was damn near expected. That wasn't crazy.
No, that was not expected, sir. Not by
Okay,
most.
but it was understandable. It was you didn't have to write down a damn 5-page letter to explain what the fuck. You didn't have to do Bully Ray and spend a whole episode of Impact explaining what the fuck happened.
Well, let's put it this way: Gallows and Anderson, as Rance has said, have been singing Honky Tonk Man's theme song. They've been coming out as Chad Too Bad, and Tex Ferguson, and losing to Fat Santa Claus. All right, like them coming out would, like, I would be okay. Like, it makes sense because they're buddies, but at the same time, like,
nah.
I mean, like.
Nah.
It's a weird, like, I'm telling you, man, I'm not 100%. I don't know. WWE could throw anything at me at any moment, and it wouldn't, like, I'll be like, okay, you got me. You know, the crazier things have happened, yes, but I don't feel that much uncertainty about the result of this match.
There's no uncertainty.
I honestly think this was a decision based on business, which I would tell you is fine. Like, that is I understand that. You guys know me. If that is the decision, okay. From a wrestling, from a story standpoint, or just like trying to be unpredictable, I'm not buying it. You know what I mean? Like that's just me, and we're gonna find out, and I could be completely wrong. So lots of speculation, right? Maybe it's time to move on. I kind of want to save the other WWE stuff for the end and do other.
We need to move on to bullshit number 2. Let's go ahead and move on to bullshit number 2, please.
Bullshit number 2, guys. Believe it or not, in an effort to help their American expansion, New Japan has booked a dream match for Wrestle Kindgom 12.
A dream match. Who the
Kenny
fuck
Omega.
was dreaming for this?
Yeah, a dream match.
Who the fuck was dreaming for this?
The entire province of Manitoba, the city of Winnipeg, this in their dreams, man. They were praying for this. Anyway,
right.
Kenny Omega will be defending the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, full title for respect, against the Ayatollah of Rock and Roll, the Alpha, Chris Jericho. Wow. And just for reference sake, this is the first match outside of WWE, WWF, that Jericho has had since 1999.
And that match was just a one-off because Mark Curtis had cancer. Okay, let's get back on these fans, right? So, last I checked, New Japan fans, and again, full disclosure, because I don't want y'all thinking that I'm just this dude who just hates fans and doesn't. No, look, I like New Japan. I've been very, very open that Kenny Omega is the best wrestler in the world. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I've been very open that I'm not even gonna watch Wrestle Kindgom. I'm gonna subscribe to New Japan World to watch it. Because we're gonna do a New Japan preview and review. So yeah, I'm with this. I was all on board before any of it. I'm an LIJ guy. Tetsuya Naito versus, say his name for me. Kazuchika, however you say it.
Kazuchika
Okada, whatever his first name is. I'm with that. That's gonna be fire. Okay, but let's get to the nitty gritty of this, right? Last I checked, New Japan fans were all about, oh well, we care about the in-ring performance, right? When the last time Chris Jericho had a good match? Oh, let's go further. Let's go further deeply into this, okay? Chris Jericho, as I described him on my Twitter, no disrespect to the dude, but just, we're speaking facts here, who is a semi-retired rock singer / podcast host / TV host / author, is going to come in to New Japan, the second biggest company in the world, and be the fucking co-main event against the best wrestler in the world, and y'all are excited about this? Even further deep into this, all I hear from people who like New Japan is, we don't want to see that bullshit stories that WWE come from. A fucking Twitter war starts the match? Y'all are from fucking hypocrites. Y'all hypocrites. Now, Chris Jericho deciding to do a match for New Japan is huge. It's huge. Because if nothing else, this is a 6-time world champion, a guy who's a bona fide Hall of Famer, first ballot, saying, I want to do something with you guys. That's a big move. Okay. Chris Jericho, even Wrestling Kenny Omega, it's a big move. But we ain't talking about Dominion. We're not talking about the G1. We're not talking about the Rockin' Rager cruise or whatever the fuck he's doing. We're talking about their WrestleMania. He just walks up. Oh, I got beef with you on Twitter. I'm going to start some fake beef. And then I'm going to show up at a pay-per-view on camera and hold your picture up and say we fighting for the title. And then this is a dude who's wrestled 2 6-star matches. And you're going to put him against a 48-year-old dude, 47, sorry, birthday's today. 47-year-old dude who, while he's still good in the ring, is nowhere close to what Kenny can do. And y'all are excited about this? You are hypocrites. Hypocrites. Because I guarantee you, if Jushin Thunder Liger or Bone Soldier or any of those old heads who Yuji Nagata, if Yuji Nagata said, I'm going to come to WWE and I'm going to wrestle Roman Reigns in the co-main event of WrestleMania, y'all would fucking laugh. Hypocrites.
Rance,
You're
let me
hypocrite.
ask
You're
you a
fucking
question.
hypocrite.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you think if Vince McMahon was in a position where WWE was still a growing company, not the mega giant that they are, and they were trying to expand to Japan, that they might do something like that they might book Jushin Thunder Liger in that sort of situation? Would you not see that as a possibility?
I would
as
absolutely
something
not see it
Vince
as a
would?
possibility because that's never been what Vince has done. Vince has never gave a fuck about wrestling. Vince cares about entertainment and mainstream. So Vince would have gotten who's a popular Japanese actor. That's what he says. That's the shit he would have done. Who's a popular Japanese? He'd have got Manny Pacquiao.
Roman Reigns versus Jackie Chan at WrestleMania 34.
That's the shit
He's
he would have
Chinese.
done.
He's Chinese.
No, and
I'm
we
sorry.
know the difference between
I'm sorry.
we know the difference. But the point is, that's the shit he would have
Jet Li.
done. There you go. That's the shit he would have done. Vince didn't give a fuck about wrestling. Who the fuck is Jushin Thunder Liger in respect to what the fuck Vince is trying to do? And that's no disrespect to Jushin Thunder Liger, who's possibly the greatest cruiserweight, light heavyweight of all time. No disrespect to dude. But Vince's vision is bigger than I'm trying to do some wrestling. That's why the fuck he's the king on top of the damn crown, because he's thinking bigger and further than what y'all thinking.
Didn't they bring in Jushin Thunder Liger one time to wrestle Tyler Breeze on
Tyler
NXT?
Breeze in the opening of a takeover.
Yeah. So, yeah, it kind of shows you where they're at with Jushin
You
Thunder
see my
Liger.
point? But you see my point?
Yeah. Oh, sure, yeah. I want to hear Caleb's opinion on the Jericho Omega stuff.
You know where he sits.
I like to get the it's like I'm like the libertarian of the group. I like to get the far left and the far right, and then I jump right here and then I start saying stuff. Go ahead, Caleb. I want to hear it. Go ahead, Caleb.
Okay, Rand Paul.
Do not shit on Rand Paul. I don't appreciate that, sir.
I wasn't.
But
that's the only libertarian I know.
He's Republican, but
His daddy then, whatever his daddy name, Ron Paul, yeah.
But anyway, no, I'm very excited for this. I mean, if more than anything, I'm excited for this for New Japan because I know, like, not, more than anything, like, I'm not like, oh, Chris Jericho's going to come out here and fucking 69 nice stars with Kenny Omega. But, more for the expansion of New Japan because this is only going to help. And, I love wrestling. So to have more wrestling that would be directly accessible to me beyond like having to use a Chromecast or having to use a Roku or a Fire Stick or whatever, this is only going to help me being able to have direct access to like an original episode of like New Japan Pro Wrestling as opposed to what you get on Access, which is like taped. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so I'm very excited for this. They got their dojo opening up and in 2018 in the States here. That's pretty cool. But long story short, Carl, I am very, very excited to see this match. That is a certainty.
So hold on.
Yeah, what's up? Go. Yeah, what's up?
If all that you care about, or changing that. All that's important about this is Jericho being there and helping with the expansion. Why is he wrestling in the co-main event against the best wrestler in the world? Put him against Time Bomb. That's a hell of a match. Time Bomb can go. Hiroku Tanahashi or whatever the fuck his name is. Taka. I really don't know these guys' names like this. I know the guys, but I know his name is Time Bomb. I've seen him wrestle. He has a hell of a gimmick. He's a great dude, and if he's not with LIJ, he's affiliated with them. So you have multiple storylines that you can come from that, right? Why not? Do that.
I mean, yeah,
I'll put
maybe
him in the
so,
co-main.
like, I'm not. So no, I'm not. I'm not stating that like Kenny Omega was your best choice and should have been your first choice or whatever. But at the same time, like you do have to. You can't just say like, hey, go out here and fight Chase Owens from the Bullet Club. Like, no, you can't. No disrespect to Chase Owens.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be Kenny Omega, but like I'm not going to take a flight to Tokyo and find where Geto lives and like beat the shit out of him or anything for booking this match. That's for sure. Probably because I bet he'd kick my ass, but yeah, that's
Probably.
that's
He'd have to move the damn Okada headband a little higher so he can see first. But no, I get that. And again, yeah, that what you go take that further than what I was trying to do. I get no, so I understand that. I'm not saying that we should tiki torches, in Osaka. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, I said tiki torches.
It sounds like a good time. I'm down.
What I'm saying is, we would kill Vince for something like this, but the difference is everybody is celebrating this, and again, that leads to my hypocrisy. The problem I have with fans is you pick and choose what you want to be cool with every fucking day, and you change. Be consistent. I'm all for Chris Jericho coming to New Japan for a night, even a month, however long. He can do what the fuck he wants. But I'm all for him coming over there and doing a match, trying to help them expand. Hell, let him come and wrestle at damn Long Beach shows the 2 weeks before WrestleMania. I'm fine with that. The problem I have with is you're putting this dude who's never wrestled in his company, who has no ties to this company since 1997 or whatever, and who's retired, come in and gonna wrestle this co-main event of the biggest show for a group of fans who clamor and swear to God that all they want, that they care about, is in-ring prowess. He's not gonna give you a great in-ring match. So put him in the mid-card. Give him somebody he can build something with. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, you're fine. I think the point is made, but I just wanted to illustrate your point a little bit. Remember when this one retired pro wrestler came back to wrestle at Survivor Series a year ago? And then he wrestled at WrestleMania? Yeah, that guy? Goldberg? How did we feel about that? Oh, they're wrestling for a championship, damn it. They don't need a title. They don't need a title to have a match. The title doesn't need to be on the line. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Because it sounds familiar to me. I want to just say this real quick. I am actually on Caleb's side with the fact that I'm excited for the match. I am a Chris Jericho fan. Kenny Omega is outstanding. This is like, I don't know if the match will be good or not. That doesn't really matter all that much to me. I don't get to watch New Japan. I don't get to watch a ton of wrestling as much as I would like to, So I usually stick with WWE because it's more accessible. And the accessibility point that Caleb made, I think, is really good. Mm-hmm. With that being said, I'm excited about this because it kind of gives me a reason. Like, I know it sounds like you shouldn't need Jericho to bring you over to watch New Japan, but some fans do need that. You need a name, someone like that, to say, hey, I want to tune into this. So I think it's a great move for NJPW for sure. And I'm excited because I want to watch it. I want to see the match. I think it'll be fun. I like the fact I'm a story guy. So I like the fact that they had a little Twitter war. To me, that's fun. That's cool. It's Jericho being Jericho. Only Jericho, it seems like, could get people believing that like everything someone says about Kenny Omega warrants a block on Twitter. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Jericho is one of the best, period, at being inventive when it comes to getting stuff over. That is a Chris Jericho specialty. So to me, the way this all was built is awesome. I'm cool with it. I will watch the match, guys. I don't even, I don't get a chance. Like, it happens. I'll be out of town when it happens. So hopefully I'll be able to watch it some other way afterwards. I won't get to watch it live. But that being said, I'm kind of like, it is amazing. Like, this match is not something I'm not expecting them to blow the roof off. Jericho has definitely lost a step over the years. And while I do enjoy him as a character, as you said, Rance, New Japan isn't like story driven. They do things that are kind of cool, but like usually it's just have these insane fucking matches. And if you're hoping for an insane match out of this, I wouldn't get my hopes up. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it just seems like it'll be decent. But the whole, like, oh, it's so awesome, they're fighting for the title. Like, give me a motherfucking break. Like, come on. This is the same shit when Goldberg came back, 50 years old, to fight for the title. He took the belt from Kevin Owens. Like, oh my God in heaven. Like, some of the things that we will accept because of this and we won't accept because of that, despite them being the same thing, drives me fucking crazy.
That's my problem, yes.
Like, with the consistency thing, you've got me on board with just the consistency. Like, and I like so much different types of things when it comes to wrestling. I'll be the first to tell you, man, there are some comedy acts that I love. There are some comedy acts that I cannot fucking stand. Like, there are some wrestlers who are terrible that I like. There are some wrestlers who are great that I hate. I mean, it's my inconsistencies are just with my tastes. You know what I mean? But it's not when it comes to, like, I'm not going to be hypocritical and get mad about one thing and then turn around and say that the exact same thing, just a different company, is now awesome. Give me a fucking break. Like, that to me is ridiculous.
And
so that's where I'm at with this. I'm in the middle. Big surprise. That's where I'm at.
I know we got to move on. So Caleb, I'm gonna give it back to you in a second. But I just wanted to clear up for the record. I'm fine with the way it was built. I'm fine with the match in general. The problem I have is with the inconsistency and the hypocrisy of the fans. That's all I want to be said, because I don't want you to think that I got a problem with any of this. Personally, I could care less. It's cool. I like Jericho. I love Omega. It's gonna be an interesting match. It's gonna be a hell of a build-up. Both these guys are probably two of the most interesting characters we've ever had. But be consistent, man. Be consistent. When Goldberg first came back, it was a one-off match against Brock, and y'all were pissed that he beat Brock. And then the next match, y'all were pissed that he was in the Royal Rumble. And then the next match, y'all were pissed that he won a title. Like, what's the difference? It's the same thing. That's all I'm saying. Be consistent. But, Caleb, the floor is yours, brother. Whatever you want to say, if you want to move on, whatever you want to do.
Well, I just want to move on. Although those of you listening, please give us feedback. Let us know if you're going to be watching, whether it be on the 4th at like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, or later on in the week, possibly. Just let us know, man. There are a couple of guys who might have gotten into some hot water this week over something they may or may not have done. We're not entirely, because here's the thing. We've been told a lot, but we've been told some things that are contradictory of each other. This being that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were, and this is a fact, this has been proven, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were sent home from the United Kingdom tour after SmackDown, for what I've been told from an undisclosed source. They got into a shouting match with one Brian Armstrong. I don't know if you've ever heard of this man, lead writer for SmackDown, over a creative direction that was wanted to be taken, that would involve them, basically feeding for the New Day after Sammy's match with Kofi, where, they'll get the shit kicked out of them, they'll powder. I'm not, like, watching that segment, I'm not even sure, like, did Kevin Owens, like, say, fuck it, I'm not doing that? Did Kevin Owens forget something? Did he miss a cue? I'm not even sure what the fuck happened. But if what we are being told is true, and they decided, fuck this, we're not going to feed for them, first off, I would like to say it is completely unprofessional. Absolutely, completely unprofessional. But that being said, and, I respect Brock Lesnar for this as well, even though a lot of people hate him for it. for protecting their character, for knowing their worth, knowing that like we just did a fucking main event angle on a pay-per-view, and now a month later, you want us to bump for these guys so they can lose to the Shield? I don't want to theorize too far.
Right, no, yeah. Do you have more? Because I want to jump in on this first, Rance. I know you are ready.
I was going to say Rance.
He's ready, but I'm going to make him wait. I'm going to make him stew.
We're going to start streaming these and let you see our faces.
Yeah.
Jesus
yes.
Christ.
Okay, all right. Caleb, seriously, was that it? 'Cause I'm not trying to cut you off. I want you to keep going.
No, it's cool. It's cool, bro. It's cool.
We're leading in, so you'll have more opportunity. I just want to make sure I'm not stealing time from you because I know we are long-winded. So I just
and I want to hear from Caleb because I as much as I disagree with the shit you say half the time, I love hearing you say it.
Yeah, agreed.
So Caleb, absolutely. Like, first off, I don't want people to. The thing that's most ludicrous to me is people are taking this and the unsubstantiated rumor that these guys are hard to work with because two people say they are. And they say they use this as leverage for, well, Jim Cornette was right all the time. Sure. When these guys have worked with a million fucking promoters before. And one guy has something bad to say about him. But Carl, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I will say this. As far as Jim Cornette goes, you and I, we're on the same page. Fuck Jim Cornette. Like, I don't take anything he says as anything. I don't give a fuck what he has to say. When Jim Cornette says, Kevin Owens will never make it because he wears gym shorts, fuck off. Okay. Like, this isn't the 80s. All right. It is a different world. So we're there. I will say this. And we're also there on this. If Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn decided not to do a job that they're being paid to do, yeah, that's unprofessional. And Caleb, but where we part, Caleb, is on the idea that, well, I'm going to stand up for this decision because they know their worth. All right. Listen, this is where we part. And it's not because I don't understand where you're coming from. Because I will say this. Kevin Owens, to me, and Sami Zayn, both, are valuable, in my opinion. Okay? They're valuable assets to the company. However, you're not going to sit here and tell me that they can say with a straight face that we know our worth, so we're not going to do a job for the New Day? Are you kidding me? You mean the New Day? WrestleMania 32, remember that? When they outsold fucking everyone in merchandise sales? Are you kidding me? The New Day's value, I promise you, in WWE dollars is higher than probably both Kevin and Sami, and I love Kevin Owens, okay?
To boot, probably higher than that of most, everyone else.
So if that is their justification, they are completely off base, okay? I'm sorry, they just are. And like I've said before, I am a Kevin Owens fan. I've come around on Sami post heel turn, okay? I've enjoyed his work since the heel turn. So I like these guys, okay? It is hard for me to sit here and say, sorry, Kev. You know what I mean? Let me just say this, and this is the best way I can put it, okay? Caleb, you have a job. Rance, you have a job. If you guys walk into your work tomorrow and they say, hey, I need you to do this today, and you start screaming at the manager, and then not only that, you go out to the floor and don't do what you were asked to do, what do you expect is going to happen? They don't give a fuck about your worth. Because here's the thing. Vince McMahon's worth and his value are still more than Kevin and Sami. And WWE will go on without Kevin and Sami. As much as I like them both, the world and wrestling and WWE will continue without them. Now, that being said, before I hand it off, I know you guys are probably ready to jump. I have no problem with Kevin and Sami having a disagreement in the back with Road Dogg, because guess what? I believe that disagreements should be saved for the back, okay? Behind closed doors. That's where it should be, and that's okay. I have no issues with that. If that's how they felt and they wanted to handle it in the same situation that Neville did, where he said, you know what, I'm just not doing this. I'm leaving. He gave them time to make a fix on the fly. But you went out there and you did something that not only made yourself look bad, but you made the New Day look bad. You made your coworkers look bad because you went out there and made a segment look fucking awkward. Okay? Like, if that's what happened here, they went out and threw their own coworkers under the bus too. I'm sorry. That's just how it is. And whether you want to believe it or whether you agree with that or not. And that is, to me, it's unacceptable. So the fact they got sent home doesn't bother me. I don't want them to leave. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
They're not going to.
But let's put it. But just the whole idea of, yeah.
Furthermore, by a week from now, this between those in power and those that are affected by this, it's almost going to be like, I would bet this is almost going to be like it never happened, because I'm willing to bet I would be shocked if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn weren't on TV next week, because quite frankly, if they were going to be suspended or fired, I'm willing to bet it probably would have happened by now.
Well, I don't think anything's going to happen to them. I don't think anything's going to happen. They might get, you could be looking at, going out there and jobbing some more. That could happen. Yeah. It harkens back a little bit, in my opinion, and it's not the exact same, okay? But it's a little bit of a reminder of the curtain call to me. You guys all know, hopefully most of you guys know the history of the curtain call. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were leaving WWF to go to WCW, and they had a live event, and of course, if you know the Clique, Shawn and Triple H and all those guys. They had their little moment in the ring where they basically broke the fourth wall, more or less. This is before breaking the fourth wall was okay, I guess you could say. And Triple H, Shawn Michaels was champ at the time, so they didn't do anything to him. Hall and Nash were out the door, so they couldn't do anything to them. So Triple H, X-Pac was, you're right, Triple H took the fall. He was as Chris Carter might say, he was the fall guy.
The fall guy.
Yeah, so Triple H took the fall, and he took a fall. You remember what happened to him at WrestleMania 12, where he got squashed, and then he was scheduled to win King of the Ring, and they took that away from him.
He had a feud with Phineas Godwin and got beat in a hog pin match.
So they did some things, and Triple H, what happened, right?
But that being said, 3 months later, he also won the Intercontinental title. So this wasn't a long burial of fuck you, Triple H.
No, but what I'm saying is,
I get what you're saying.
The grievances, it wasn't to the point where, he went on a live television show. Of course, it was taped, I guess, but it was still a SmackDown, right? He didn't go on one of the premier shows and say, fuck this. You know what I mean? He went out there and took, the consequences were paid. You know what I'm saying?
Not only did he take the consequences, he asked Vince. This has been talked about. When Vince told him he was going to be buried, he asked Vince, all I want to know is, can I get out of this? Can I move past this? Vince said, of course you can. He said, then do it as long as you need to. He was fine paying his dues. Because you know what? That's what grown adults do.
And let's keep in mind, and the thing that's beautiful about this, before I let Rance jump in, because I know I'm still talking, Triple H is a fan of guys like Sami and Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. If you don't think that, you're crazy. Triple H loves those guys. This will get fixed. I'm sure of it. Okay?
Yes.
There's because you talk about knowing your value, and yes, while Sami and Kevin may not be as valuable as New Day, Triple H still sees major value in those two. He knows what they're capable of. So while this seems crazy right now, I would be very surprised, as Caleb said, if it didn't end up being water under the bridge. But there may be some repercussions here, and that's just the reality. That's just the reality of it. So Rance, the floor is yours, my friend.
So when I hear the words "know your worth," I think about the conversations I have with both of my daughters, about being women and not letting men take advantage of them. That's what "know your worth" means to me. So when I hear someone say "know your worth" about a fucking wrestler, that's some of the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. Because look, man, our society is so weird right now. Because our society, we all want to do what we want. And want everybody to be okay with us doing what the fuck we want without worrying about the consequences of what the fuck we do. When you are an employee of a company and you're asked to do something, if you don't like it, fucking quit. If you have the clout to talk about it, Talk about it. But when it comes time to do your job, do your job. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So
I would implore someone to quit before I would implore them to go out and like do something that could cause them to burn a bridge.
because last I checked, all these fans be telling me, well, WWE isn't the be all end all anymore in wrestling. Okay, if you got a problem by just getting an extra beat down by the New Day on a random ass SmackDown, if that's too much for you, quit. Quit. If that's too much for you. Otherwise, be a fucking man, do your job, and then move on about it. Because you know what? You were the biggest thing on SmackDown 3 weeks ago. You could have been the biggest thing on SmackDown going into SummerSlam or Survivor Series. But now, you done went and did some stupid shit because you was in your feelings. You know, and you done got your ass kicked off a fucking tour. By the way, nobody's talked about this. They got kicked off the tour. They're not going to get paid for the days they missed. That's more money out their pocket. Because they decided to do something fucking stupid. Now, what I want to talk about, the Know Your Worth shit just, my eyes rolled completely 360 in the back of my head. What I want to talk about is this possibility that, and this is a dirt sheet rumor, so forgive me for bringing it up, but that they are disgruntled because Neville walked out and Jimmy Jacobs got fired. Now, we all know the Ring of Honor guys, Cesaro, Rollins, Owens and Zayn, all those guys were super close with Jimmy Jacobs because Jimmy Jacobs is an original, right? So with him being fired, mind you, Kevin and Sami, you're super tight with the Bucks and with Omega and with a lot of those guys in the Bullet Club, right? They were on being the Elite 6 months ago, 5 months, however long ago it was. So I want to talk about that and bring that up to you guys and get you guys' opinion on that, because if that's the case, still I don't feel fucking bad for you. I'm sorry that your friend got fired. You know what I had to do the other day? I work in IT. I had to disable my friend's account, one of my good friends, who didn't even know he was fired. I had to do that shit before he got fucking fired. And you know that shit, it hurt. But you know what I did? I did my fucking job. We have a job to do. We all have a job. Caleb, you got a job. Carl, you got a job. I have a job. And even if you don't have a job in terms of employment, Carl, you're a husband and a father. I'm a father. Caleb, you're a brother. Right? We all got our jobs to do. So if you really got that big of a problem by taking just an extra beat down, then fight for your point in the back. If you still lose, do the damn job. Because you know what? Unlike New Japan, unlike all these other companies, WWE has been 25 years episodic. So what that means is there's another fucking episode next week. If you didn't get what you wanted on this one, there's another chance you'll get it on that one. But don't tell me that playing ball doesn't get you rewarded. Jinder Mahal just won a damn championship. Doing your job and being professional gets you rewarded in wrestling.
That's true. That's hard to argue. The Miz is another good example of that,
Mark
right?
Henry.
Rance, here is the thing, is that none of us are saying it is not unprofessional. This is absolutely unprofessional, but also, and it should be condemned if, what we're being told is 100% true, that they didn't want to feed for New Day or whatever. But that being said, as far as we know, this is an isolated incident with Sami Zayn, with Kevin Owens. So, I mean, let's not chop their fucking heads off like they just murdered the Queen of England or something.
I'm with you.
But
the problem I have is when you say know your worth. When you allude to the fact that, oh, well, they're much better than this, so at least they knew enough about themselves and cared enough about their characters, that's bullshit to me. Because nobody's more important than the bottom line. And the bottom line of the company leads them to say, do this. If they don't want to do that, then they can take their bottom line and take their check, rip it, and move on. We all have a job. Now, 100%, Caleb, I'm with you. This will probably be forgotten this is probably already forgotten in the company, if we're honest with it. They probably don't care about this no more. Because we all know Sami and Kevin are loved by everybody in that company. We know this. This is fact. Kevin Owens just got a DVD.
So they might have They might have one enemy now, but yeah.
No, no. Contrary to what you believe and what a lot of other fans believe, Road Dogg isn't vindictive. He's never shown himself to be that since he's had any power. He's not a vindictive dude, right? There's never been his mo. Not since he's been sober and been working for the creative team. That's not what he's gonna do. Plus, how can you be vindictive when they're, quite frankly, maybe you outside of gender, your top heel act? No. Then it's
because
not gonna anybody against them.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I think we're all kind of spot on. I mean, with it, I'm like I said before, and I understand the idea of feeling like you should be valued more.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a thing that we all feel when in employment or in life. We kind of have that thought process. Maybe I'm worth more than this, and that's fine. If that's the way you want to, if that's the way you feel, as Rance said, you can leave. Cody Rhodes did it. He left. He left on good terms. Yep, right? I mean, and he went out and he's doing his thing, and I don't like the idea of kind of what you alluded to, if this is even true, of being disgruntled because Jimmy Jacobs got fired or whatever. Like, first of all, once again, go back to the curtain call, you had Hall and Nash leave. Shawn and Triple H could have left. WCW was signing people left and right. When their contract expired, they could have been like, fuck it, I'm out too. I'm going to go get that guaranteed money and sit on my ass. Or, and not have to work nearly as hard, whatever. But they didn't do that. They stuck. They stuck where they were. They could have been upset that their boys were gone, but they didn't do that. And Kevin and granted, Shawn was in a prominent position at the time, and Triple H really wasn't. He was kind of floating around in the mid card. But Kevin and Sami, just because they're not in the WWE title scene right now, they are prominent figures on SmackDown. Okay? Kevin Owens just got out of a feud with a goddamn McMahon. Okay? He got to headbutt the owner of WWE on live television. And this is their positions are good if they have to go out there. Sometimes you got to go out there and get beat. Get beat up.
And what bothers me about this so much in wrestling is if you're on the show, you're good, right? If you don't think that the Colognes are begging to be in the position that Kevin and Sami are? You don't think that Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder would love to have the screen time Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn have gotten?
Mm-hmm.
Before this Fashion Files, you don't think the Ascension would beg to even be on TV every week? So this is a scripted environment. So somebody's scripted to win, somebody's scripted to lose. More so than that, somebody's scripted to get their ass whooped, somebody's scripted to whip ass. So if you got a problem being the guy who gets your ass whooped from time to time, you in the wrong business. And Kevin and Sami have been lifelong fans. Kevin Owens learned how to speak English by watching wrestling. So you've been doing this shit long enough to know there's gonna be quite a moment, especially being a heel, a prominent one. I'm gonna have to get my ass whooped.
You know what? I have a theory.
Uh-oh.
I have a theory. There has been no issue with Kevin Owens until he got around that dastardly Sami Zayn.
That scoundrel.
that backstage cancer.
That
Sami
thug.
Zayn.
That thug.
Yeah, that malcontent Sami Zayn, who didn't want to take his goddamn mask off.
That Scott.
And then he does everything.
Shit. That's what happened.
And then he does everything they say when they sign him.
I'll say this. I'm disappointed in Kevin and Sami for doing what they did, but I feel like things are going to work out, and it's okay. I'm not hating these guys. Like, I feel like it'll work itself out.
Like, maybe it was just, for all we know, it was one bad day at work.
Sure.
That's all it could be.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's okay. And, I just want to know, like, to me, like, Caleb, let me ask you this real quick. If Road Dogg had written up, like, a bad story for someone like, say, I don't know, Eddie Guerrero, maybe a Conan type of guy, What do you think their response would have been to Road Dogg?
Well, they'd probably call him a punto a couple of times, and
Right.
they'd probably get really angry, and maybe out of anger they would say something like "Viva la raza!" Yeah.
So I had to get
Yeah.
it in because we're getting
Had
close to the
to.
end.
We are. I think we should bring this home, guys, to be honest with you, unless you guys have more to add.
I'm tired.
I got it in, man. We had 3 awesome topics to talk about tonight.
Yeah, my phone's dying.
I'm exhausted. Hey,
Yeah.
IWC, your boy Rance loves you. Just want to tell you that.
Rance love the kids.
Rance love the
Uncle
kids.
Rance loves you. It's sometimes it's tough love, but he still loves you.
Yeah, no, it all of my disdain comes from a positive place because I want you to be better. I understand it. I have very dissenting opinions. I'm completely okay and fine with that. That's the reason y'all call me a contrarian. I'm good with that. But just be consistent, dog. That's all I ask. Like what you like, hate what you hate, but just be consistent in the shit you do.
That's a beautiful way to close it. I
Yeah, absolutely. Rance, where can I find you on like Twitter, or maybe you're on like LinkedIn or fucking Grindr? I don't know your life,
Well,
but
first and
where can I
foremost,
find you?
well, none of y'all gonna get my LinkedIn, even though everybody knows my name. That shit ain't happening. No, man. Follow your boy at It's Ray Cash, REY as in Ray, CASH as in $. Yeah, man. Look out for your boy. I'm probably gonna start writing again sometime for the end of the year. Yeah, man. Follow the podcast at the SMC Podcast. Don't forget to look your boys up. Run Nation Radio, Social Suplex, the whole podcast network at Social Suplex. I'm sure Caleb will give you the aforementioned places. But yeah, man, just support. We're gonna try to keep doing this thing pretty consistent. So yeah, Chad, I love you, boy. Come on the podcast next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get the Doc Chad Matthews on here next week, man. Let's make that happen.
That would be good. So you can find me, Carl Lamarck, on Twitter at KERVINSMC. You'll know it's me because my name will be Happy Curvin, because I am a happy guy. I love wrestling, and I don't get too upset about results and things of that nature. I just like wrestling. I'm a happy guy, you know. I don't get mad. I don't have heat with everyone. So follow me on Twitter. That's pretty much where you can find me. I am a writer on lordsofpain.net. I haven't written in a while, so I don't know. I might be getting kicked off. I don't know. I need to get something going.
Oh boy.
It's difficult. I got a very busy schedule, and my podcast brothers have been a priority over the writing thing right now. And maybe that isn't the best idea, but it is. You know, it is what it is. You know, and also be on the lookout now. Real quick, you know where to follow us on Twitter. But the SMC Podcast, by the way, guys, is planning to go to WrestleMania this year.
Yes.
And
yes, we are.
We're hoping to do a podcast while we're there. So we're hoping to maybe even get some stuff you can get, some t-shirts and some shit like that. So, you know, we'll see. I'm not trying to some swag. Yeah, I'm not trying to like push. I'm not trying to, you know, shove it down your throat or anything, but just know that we're heading to New Orleans, it looks like. You can find us on Bourbon Street. And it's going to be a good time. So I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be down there. So keep up with us. We'll keep you posted. And Caleb, I think you are more than welcome to finish it off. Close it out.
Okay. Well, to your point about WrestleMania, you know, maybe we get turnt on Saturday night at some bar, or maybe Carl and I go to Kaiju Big Battle and watch fucking Dr. Cube wrestle someone. Who knows?
I want y'all to know
you
that
never
he said Carl and him, because they know damn well I ain't going to that shit. Damn well.
Yeah. I would only do it if I was already turned. As Caleb
yeah.
said.
Well, that's why. Yeah.
You Big Battle. Let's do it.
Yeah. You get drunk at Takeover. I get drunk at Supercard. We meet up at Kaiju. We have a great time.
Uber over. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Guys, follow me on Twitter at SMC_CalB. As Rance had mentioned, follow the podcast at the SMC Podcast. Follow Social Suplex at Social Suplex. You can get us on iTunes, If you're an Android user, you can find us on Podbean, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, whatever app you might use to listen to podcasts. Look for Social Suplex Podcast Network. We share that feed with One Nation Radio, the Big Brother podcast. We love them. You can follow them at One Nation Radio. I've already said mine. Carl and Rance have already said theirs. We've got all our handles out of the way. Again, as I said at the beginning, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. God bless and have a good night.